The hospital room was quiet except for the soft, rhythmic beeping of a heart monitor. 7-year-old Lily Harper lay in the small hospital bed, her fragile body surrounded by tubes and machines that kept her alive for just a little longer. Doctors had given her only 1 week to live. The illness had spread too far, and no treatment could stop it now. Yet despite the pale color of her cheeks and the oxygen tube beneath her tiny nose, Lily's eyes still carried a gentle light, the kind that made nurses pause when they entered the room. That afternoon, a tall man in an expensive dark suit walked into the children's wing of the hospital. His name was Daniel Carter, one of the wealthiest businessmen in the city. He owned hotels, companies, and skyscrapers that touched the clouds, but today he wasn't here for business. Daniel was known for donating millions to hospitals and charities, but the truth was something few people knew. Ever since losing his own daughter in an accident 5 years earlier, he visited children's hospitals quietly, trying to fill the empty space in his heart with kindness. As Daniel walked down the hallway, a nurse stopped him and said softly, "Mr. Carter, there's a little girl who asked to see you." Daniel looked surprised. "She asked for me?" The nurse nodded. "Her name is Lily. She has only a week left. When we asked her if she had a final wish, she said she wanted to meet the kind men who help sick kids." Daniel hesitated for a moment, feeling something tighten in his chest. Slowly, he nodded and followed the nurse into Lily's room. When Lily saw him, her tired eyes widened with quiet excitement. "Are you the millionaire?" she asked in a weak but curious voice. Daniel smiled gently and walked closer. "I guess that's what people call me," he said softly, pulling a chair beside her bed. "But you can just call me Daniel." Lily looked at him for a moment, studying his face the way children do when they're trying to understand someone's heart. Then she asked the question that would change everything. "Can you be my dad for 1 week?" The room suddenly felt smaller. Daniel froze. The words hit him harder than any business loss or bad news ever had. For a moment, he couldn't speak. The little girl continued quietly, "All the other kids talk about their dads bringing them toys and sitting with them. My dad left when I was little, and mommy works all the time to pay for my medicine." Her tiny fingers clutched the hospital blanket as she looked down. "I just wanted to know what it feels like to have a dad before I go to heaven." Daniel felt his throat tighten as memories of his own daughter rushed back like a storm. He remembered holding her hand, hearing her laugh, promising to protect her forever, a promise he couldn't keep. His eyes filled with tears he had hidden from the world for years. Slowly, he reached out and held Lily's small hand. "Lily, being your dad for a week would be the greatest honor of my life." Lily's tired face lit up with the brightest smile the nurses had seen in months. Over the next few days, something beautiful happened inside that hospital room. Daniel canceled meetings, postponed deals worth millions, and spent every day with Lily. They watched cartoons, colored pictures, and told silly stories. Daniel brought her a teddy bear almost as big as she was, and Lily named it Mr. Fluffy. Nurses would often pause outside the door, wiping away tears as they watched the powerful businessman sitting on the floor beside the bed, helping Lily draw pictures of the family she had always dreamed of. One evening, as the sunset painted the hospital room in warm golden light, Lily looked at Daniel and whispered, "Thank you for being my dad." Daniel squeezed her hand gently, struggling to hold back his tears. "Thank you for choosing me," he replied. But on the 6th night, Lily grew weaker. The machines beeped slower, and the doctors knew the moment was near. Daniel sat beside her, holding her hand just like a real father would. Lily looked up at him one last time and whispered softly, "I'm not scared anymore, because I know I had a dad." Daniel finally broke down, tears falling freely as he kissed her forehead. "You will always have a dad," he whispered. "Always." Lily closed her eyes peacefully a few moments later, leaving behind a silence that filled the entire room. In the days that followed, Daniel Carter changed in ways the world never expected. He built a new children's hospital wing named Lily's Place, where no child would ever feel alone again. And every year on the day he met Lily, Daniel visited the hospital with toys, stories, and time, the most valuable gift he could give. Because sometimes the smallest wishes leave the biggest marks on our hearts. And if Lily's story touched you today, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join us for more powerful stories that remind us how kindness can change the world.